Hey, Foot Clan, if you are planning on playing any daily fantasy football this week, or any week for that matter, on DraftKings or FanDuel, you've got to check out the DFS Pass. That is our ultimate draft kit for daily fantasy purposes. We have some of the highest-ranked DFS players in the world putting out hot content there, and we're even adding to it every week. So check it out. Go to dfspass.com. It's a one price for the whole year.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from the Play Draft Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Holy Toledo! Ho-ho! We've made it to day 3.
Still alive!
The Fantasy Footballers Podcast. I am your host, Mike the Fantasy Hitman Wright. I am joined by Jason Moore.
Happy to be here.
Also joined by Jay Grizz. Andy Holloway, enjoying his vacation, enjoying his family.
I hope.
Yeah.
There's fire, like, all around Disneyland. Apparently the hills are on fire, and ash is raining down in Disneyland. No joke. That is his current vacation.
It's gone from the happiest place on earth to the ashiest.
Ooh. See what you did there. You changed the word.
And I made it work.
All right.
So, welcome into the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. You want to follow us on Twitter? Please do. And that's where you're going to get all your quick-hitting updates. You can do that at the FF Ballers. If you want the personal musings of myself and my colleagues, you can find me at FF Hitman. Find Jason at JasonFFL.
And find Jay Grizz.
Of course.
Yeah. What is his?
I don't even remember.
It's at Jay Grizz.
Is it Jay Grizz FFL?
Yes.
The bear, the cardboard bear, has a Twitter account, and it's very funny.
It is a great account. It is an awesome account. I think it have over 2,000 followers.
What you don't realize is that there are bear pictures for every occasion.
Yeah.
And somehow Jay Grizz is able to communicate with them.
You'll enjoy the follow.
So check out the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. New articles going up each and every day. The rankings will be going up today. It is Wednesday. That means it is rankings day.
Yeah, this afternoon, be sure to check the site. Our rankings will go live, including our flex rankings for everyone over at a part of the show at jointhefoot.com.
I hope your waivers went well today, and do not forget, it's waiver day. That means you need to
drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot. Go check out those drop skis. See who is available. You may find a gem. We're going to move to the quick question, but instead of the quick question, because it is Wednesday, we are going to pump the brakes.
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly.
Auto parts.
A full team effort today. We got Brooks and Jay Grizz in on it.
We made it. This is Pump the Brakes, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Jason.
Yo.
Who are you pumping the brakes on this week?
Look, we are in Arizona. I shamefully will admit that I am excited to have Adrian Peterson a part of the team. I actually have excitement, but I don't want to admit that. Here I am now admitting it to the world. But I'm pumping the brakes on Adrian Peterson because I'm still realistic with expectations. Tampa Bay traveling to Arizona is a very beatable matchup. So maybe he is able to perform, but he's on a short week as far as being able to practice before the game. For a new team, he won't know the offense. He can't be a guy that's out there on 70% of snaps.
He's already listed as the starter.
Right. He will be the starter, and he will get at least 10 carries plus. But my point is, I don't think with that offensive line, all the issues there, look at Adrian Peterson right now. I believe he was averaging about 2.6 yards per carry with the New Orleans Saints, who have a much, much better offensive line. So now he travels to Arizona, new team, new offense, and a much worse offensive line. I don't see how he's going to all of a sudden become a superstar just because he is Adrian Peterson, the Hall of Famer. I'm picking him up. I'm hoping for a great game against a beatable matchup at Tampa Bay this week. I'm not going to start him if I have him. I don't trust him. I'm pumping the brakes on him. If he performs well, I will look to trade him. So I'm just tempering the expectations for those of you that picked up Adrian Peterson.
You better hope that you are right, because we will know in about 60 seconds if you will be facing up against Adrian Peterson in our League of Record.
Oh, that's right. Waivers are going, and we are facing off this week, you and I. Mano y mano.
My running back situation for this week is desperate. At best, you can call it. So you could be going up against Adrian Peterson. My pump the brakes this week, running back for the New York Jets, Elijah McGuire. Now, why am I pumping the brakes on Elijah? The matchup is juicy. It's the New England Patriots. I have a statement I'd like to make.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. The reports of Elijah McGuire, expected heavy workload. I don't see a world where the New York Jets are able to have a sustained offense and put points up against the Patriots. I know that the Patriots defense has been terrible lately. We saw some signs of life. Granted, last week against the Buccaneers, I put more blame on Jameis Winston than the actual defense succeeding. But Bill Belichick in division against the Jets, Elijah McGuire is going to have to be very involved in the passing game to give you a good fantasy day, in my opinion. Now, he could be the only show in town with Forte. If Forte is out, Bilal Powell is trending to be out as well. That's why I think that this is such a trap that people are beside themselves. They're very excited to start Elijah McGuire. Now, if I have him and it's a situation, like I said, I'm in a desperate need here where I tried to grab Adrian Peterson, right? Because I'll be playing him.
You did not get him?
I did not really.
Yeah. You did not get Adrian Peterson?
That is devastating because I thought I put a very sizable bid to get Adrian Peterson.
You did. You bid 18. Someone bid 30.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to.
They should have listened to Pump the Brakes first.
But if you got him and that's your option, you play. I'm just saying I'm not overly excited looking at the matchup on paper saying this is the time. This is Elijah McGuire's time to shine. Jason, do you have any thoughts on McGuire?
Yeah, I look, it could be a trap game. I said beforehand in the studio.
I missed the button.
It's a trap. I said this before the show in the studio that I actually think the Patriots are a playable defense this week because, yes, they are the last-ranked defense, and the Jets are on a 3-game winning streak. So I think a lot of people are just saying, oh, you got to avoid that. I don't believe so. I think the coaching – I think things will come back – to the mean, to where you expect these teams to be playing at, and they are a startable defense. However, I have a hard time pumping the brakes on Elijah McGuire because if there's no Matt Forte and no Bilal Powell, I mean,
that's
Elijah McGuire is just going
excited.
to have to be involved. He's going to get the bulk of the rushes and the targets out of the backfield. You've seen him break a few plays off, and you've seen the Patriots give some big plays. So, yeah, I mean, certainly could be a trap. I've got him in a couple leagues where I'm at that decision where he is questionable as to whether I'm starting him in my flex or if I would go with someone else. I would start Devin Funchess over him, for example.
Yes, I would as well. That was Pump the Brakes, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Elijah McGuire, Adrian Peterson. Remember, O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Let's talk some news.
News and notes from around the league.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
The golden child, the golden boy, touchdown Tommy. He missed practice on Tuesday, and he had an MRI performed on his left shoulder.
Yeah, it's never good news, and I do think you need to take injuries serious with players of his age. We said this, in the draft season, the fact that look, Tom Brady hasn't lost anything. He's great.
Have you seen that diet that he's on, though?
Right. No, exactly. I mean, he takes care of his body.
He eats only cardboard. He emulsifies it into a shake, and that's all his nutrition and
reminds
fiber.
me of the DeLorean. You just put put everything in.
Mr. Fusion?
Yeah. The thing with his injury that makes it okay is obviously it's the left shoulder. He injured it 2 weeks ago and, re-aggravated it against Tampa Bay. So you've already seen him play with this injury, and he was phenomenal. So I'm not extremely worried about it, but I do caution if more injuries pop up with Brady. I mean, you saw Peyton Manning go from incredible to not being able to get over Was it the foot? Was it a foot for Peyton? There was some injury that is just a small, seemingly easy to recuperate from injury. He wasn't ever able to turn the corner.
The Browns have named Kevin Hogan the starter for Week 6. Adjust your Browns players accordingly.
Which would be what?
Keep them on the bench.
There you go. Adjust them from the bench, and you want to rearrange the order on the bench.
You're
playing Duke Johnson.
And there's hope for Ricardo Lewis with Kevin Hogan. I mean, Kevin Hogan, now it's always been the quick change for Kevin Hogan coming in, and so a defense is not necessarily used to his style of play, but he's always succeeded when he came in. I mean, last week he came in for Deshaun Kaiser.
Finished as the
was
quarterback
QB1.
11. Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows what they have in Kevin Hogan? Sam Bradford underwent an MRI after leaving Monday's game with an aggravation of his knee. The testing revealed no new injury.
Yeah, I mean, that's a problem. He came in with the same thing he's been struggling with. He wasn't necessarily hit or he just played a little bit of football and wasn't able to play the second half. It's a hard position. I feel like Sam Bradford is done.
You think that he'll end up on the IR eventually?
I do think he'll end up on the IR, but I hope he doesn't. If it is what they said it was, which was a
knee bone bruise,
then time and rest should recover it, and he should be back on the field. It's just weird to me that they're always talking about the swelling and other issues that seem at odds with that.
Devin Funchess is dealing with a knee issue. The Panthers do expect him to play on Thursday night. He did return to practice today.
Yeah, his Tuesday practice off is essentially the Wednesday practice off that you usually see from players because they're on the Thursday night game. So no worries with Funchess.
Sterling Shepard was spotted in a walking boot on Tuesday. He is not practicing today.
He better not play. I mean, you're playing against the Broncos in Denver. Just take your loss. Heal up and come back the next week because I want Sterling Shepard to be good rest of season. I don't expect him to play.
It's fair enough. Coach Sean Payton says that Willie Snead's hamstring is 100%. Chris Johnson was released by the Cardinals, and he was replaced by Adrian Peterson, and the Bears have released Deonte Thompson.
That one's strange, but it doesn't really affect anything for anyone.
Well, I mean, Trey McBride?
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I'm not. You know what? Look, I'll take a flyer on Kendall Wright and Zach Miller
and that's it.
And that's it.
All right. On Wednesdays, we like to break down some questionable players, and
I think this is the best segment of the week,
and give some advice on how we are handling them for fantasy football.
Yeah, we actually tweeted out this week. Brooks took care of it and asked you all, hey, who are the players you want to know what to do with these really questionable guys? So let's get it.
Keep, trade, cut.
Now, before we move into keep, trade, cut, I need to confirm. Did you say let's goo it?
Yeah, it was going to be
let's
go to it or let's go, and so it's let's goo it.
Let's goo it.
All right, we're gonna goo it right now. Who are we going first?
The number one request on Twitter is, what do you do? I think this is kind of shocking that people are asking this question, but the number one request on Twitter, Devontae Parker, wide receiver from the Miami Dolphins. What do you do with Parker?
It does surprise me because there's a lot of people in this list that I think are more difficult to determine what to do. With Devontae Parker,
this is an easy keep for me.
Yeah, he's been great. He might miss this week. But he's been fine. He's shown everything that we hoped in. So yeah, you hold him, you keep him, you bench him if he's injured.
Yeah, the offense for Miami, they've been putrid, but Devontae Parker's still been coming through with good fantasy lines. The offense did this last year. The exact same thing happened to the Dolphins last year. They were terrible to start the year, and then a switch clicked on, and they were fantastic. Now, a lot of that was Jay Ajayi showing up and becoming a stud last year. So there's just there's a outcome where they do get things turned around. Maybe they go to Matt Moore, but you can't get down on a guy because he got hurt in the first quarter. I mean, that really sucks.
Right.
But you don't just say, well, I'm going to cut you because you got hurt in the first quarter.
Right. No, hold on to Parker.
This name is much harder. especially because he's near and dear to my heart. Martavis Bryant, keep, trade, cut, Jason.
I am trading Martavis Bryant. There are still players out there like you who value Martavis, value the name, value the big playability. I have not really ever been one. I remember having to go to Judge Giamatti to defend my low ranking of Martavis Bryant. I believe the judge ruled against me. But, I
think he ruled with you.
Yeah, I think he did.
Okay. I must be thinking of Terrell Pryor.
Hey, Pryor's on the ups.
Yeah, sure he is. So the thing is with Martavis Bryant, in fact, in one of our dynasty leagues, we just saw someone trade for Martavis Bryant, give up picks, plus Kevin Hogan.
Chris Hogan,
yes, which good for whoever's trading away Martavis Bryant. I would trade him for sure. I don't want to deal with the ups and downs. Right now, this week, you're going on the road to Kansas City. That's not good for Big Ben, not good for Martavis Bryant. I don't want to do
That's the problem for Martavis, is Big Ben has been big bad Ben this year. It's been –
well, let's talk about Big Ben.
Yeah, because he's next on the list. So I guess my official position with Martavis would be, if you can trade him, I would. I mean, I am willing. I am the Martavis Bryant truther on this show. I still believe in his talent, and I've seen him breaking free, making things happen. But there's just the connection with Big Ben and Martavis is not there. I mean, you have Juju Smith-Schuster outperforming Martavis Bryant the last couple weeks.
Yeah, the thing is whenever we're talking about the keep, trade, cut guys, usually it's guys that are somewhat disappointing and you're not sure what to do with them. When we say trade, they're not guys that are always heavily sought after. So, package them with somebody. Take Martavis Bryant, put him with one of your running backs or one of your wide receivers that are okay to upgrade that position. Because then you're going to pick someone up off of waivers. I mean, who has the better week this week, Martavis Bryant or Taylor Gabriel? I would assume Taylor Gabriel.
Yeah.
Pick him up off of waivers.
Yeah, that's tough. So Big Ben, what are you doing?
I'm cutting Big Ben or trade him if you can, but I don't think you can.
Can't trade him.
So I'm cutting him. You're not going to play him this week on the road at Kansas City. And
Bengals next week or in 2 weeks.
You cut him, pick him up later in the year when he's regained form.
I would cut him as well. Jacquizz Rodgers, running back for Tampa Bay Buccaneers, backup running back. Are you holding him as a handcuff?
That's all he is. He's a valuable handcuff. So if I am the Doug Martin owner, sure, I'll hold him. I think it's worth it, depending on who's on waivers. This is the time of year where handcuffs can be valuable to have on your roster when you look at the waivers and you go, there's no one I really need. Now, if there's someone that you really need, I'd rather have that than a handcuff. If Alex Collins was out there and you need someone that can start, I would rather have him. If I'm not the Doug Martin owner, I try to trade him to the Doug Martin owner.
Does Jacquizz have the value that at this point? I mean, we're getting to this point of the season where you want to have at least one of your, you're one of your handcuffs. But Jacquizz Rodgers, we've seen him be valuable when Doug Martin is out. Now he came in, he looked great in his week one or his first game performance. But if something happens to Martin, all those carries go right back to Jacquizz Rodgers.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. He's a talented handcuff. But that's all he is. He's a handcuff. He's not going to be, like Tevin Coleman, is a startable handcuff. You could start him with, him every week with Freeman healthy. But if Freeman goes out, then he's even more valuable. That's not the case with Jacquizz. Jacquizz is, he's cuttable unless – if Doug Martin gets injured, Quiz would be like the #1 pickup. So that's where he's worth rostering as the Doug Martin owner. I don't usually, unless my team is bad and I'm swinging for the fences, I don't usually like rostering other handcuffs.
Fair. Jay Ajayi, running back, Miami Dolphins. What do you do with Jay Ajayi?
Yeah, that's Jay Ajayi, DeMarco Murray.
Yeah. Let's just combo those guys.
Two highly drafted running backs who have just been disappointing you. You have to start them if you've got them on your roster. So they're
still getting volume.
They're getting volume. They're killing your team. What do you do with this? I went back and looked at last year to see if there are examples of guys that started really slow and came on hot. And, of course, there are many. but almost every single one of those was a change of situation. So Jay Ajayi was one of them. Well, he went from not being the starter to being the starter.
He went from not traveling with the team.
Right, yeah. He wasn't even involved, and then it's like, oh, you're the starter. Most of them were really injury to the other guy or change of role, and then they came on strong. There was, however, an example that I think is worth noting. Jonathan Stewart. Jonathan Stewart last year through the first 5 weeks, he was injured for a couple of those. The games that he did play, the highest finish that he had was 41st. So, I mean, you're going, okay, what do you just cut this guy, right? From week 6 through the end of the season, I think this will shock you. This is just last year. Where did Jonathan Stewart rank in among running backs from week 6 to 17 on a points per game basis?
Shocking, I'm going to go running back 15.
4.
Okay, I'm shocked.
I know. So there, he was a volume back that had a very slow start and got it together. I believe that Jay Ajayi has the volume, and the team has to get better.
So you're keeping him?
I think I'm keeping both of these guys, or trading for them on the cheap. I'm not sitting here calling for DeMarco Murray and Jay Ajayi to be these great players, but they are rare. It's rare to have a running back that gets a ton of volume. There's just not that many out there, and they're not getting it done with their volume. But I'm chasing the volume, not the points. Because if they keep getting the carries, we've seen them produce. It's just too hard for me to say move on from these guys. I think for the average fantasy roster, you're going to be making a mistake.
Now, Murray he's been over 4 yards a carry the last 2 weeks, but 2 weeks ago against Houston, only 7 carries, and then 14 this past week against Miami. He did get those 5 targets. But once again, it's Matt Castle playing the quarterback. That changes things a lot for the Titans offense. And Mariota will be back.
Yes, but I doubt he's back this week. He's
it's a matchup with the Colts, though. So
I know. It's
juicy.
It's very juicy. I think you're going to start DeMarco Murray either way, but I see the outlook for him being much better with Mariota than without Mariota. Just the offense will have more opportunity to score touchdowns, and that's where your major fantasy points are going to come. All right, a lot of names here to still cover, including Marcus Mariota. What do you do with him? But before that, want to thank today's sponsor, Indochino. Indochino makes custom tailored suits for you. I mean, it's not one of those suits where you're getting off the rack and it doesn't fit you right. If you've never had a custom tailored suit, if you've never tried one on, you don't know what you're missing. Usually these suits, you're talking $800 to thousands of dollars for custom-made tailor suits. But you can get one right now for $359 with our promo code. Here's how it works. They send you this little kit, and you give them the measurements. Super easy to do.
Super easy.
I was worried about that at first. It was very easy. Send them the measurements, or you could stop in one of their showrooms, and you pick out everything, customize it on their website, and you get the perfect suit ready to make if you've got weddings coming up or any events. So right now, go to Indochino for the best deal ever, $359 for any premium suit at Indochino.com when entering footballers at checkout. That's 50% off the regular price for made-to-measure premium suit, plus shipping is free. Indochino.com, promo code footballer. You will you'll love it. You'll never go back to other suits.
Want to thank Pristine Auction for sponsoring the show. Jason, Pristine Auction has apparently got the memo.
Yeah?
People want Kareem Hunt gear.
Yeah.
Because he is – I talked about him a couple days ago with that helmet. They have another one of those helmets.
You were loving that helmet after the show.
I was not able to get it. Maybe I'll get this with the fully authentic signature. I know that Kareem Hunt, he's had his hands on this helmet.
Mm-hmm.
They also got signed jerseys from him. They got some Beckham stuff going on. They have new stuff every single day. Every day you could jump on Pristine Auction and say, well, what do you got for me today? And then you find what you want. You find what you want. You find all these signed jerseys from your favorite athletes. And I'm not talking just modern-day athletes. I'm scrolling through here. Tony Dorsett got a signed jersey. Pick him up.
Yeah, you can go all the way back. I've seen Babe Ruth sign balls on there. It's amazing.
So you got to check it out, Foot Clan. That's Pristine Auction, PRISTINE auction.com. You make a completely free account. You make sure you let them know that the fantasy footballers sent you. Back to the keep trade cuts, because there's some names here that what do you do with? What do you do with Latavius Murray? Are we to the point now where people are just going to jump completely off the ship? Because 2 weeks ago, I mean, he's kind of the presumed starter when Dalvin Cook went down. People went crazy for Latavius Murray. Jerick McKinnon comes out, hot hands his way into the perceived starting role because he was the one who had the good game. He's the one who got the bulk of the snaps.
He turned into that Dalvin Cook role.
Yeah, had the big play. I mean, it was the pass catcher. Are you ready to move on from Latavius Murray?
No, you have to hold him at least one more week. He came out. He was the clear first and second down back.
This is not a full hug. You're just giving him just a light, gentle embrace.
You're holding his hand.
Cradle. You're going to cradle
saying,
him.
Hey, let's cross the street. Let's see what happens next week. And after that, if he is relegated to being a clear backup, then I cut him. If he comes out and is the starter in the goal line back, which is what I expect to happen, then I think you've got an asset there that you can flex.
That's the unknown, is who is the goal line back?
Right. We haven't seen that yet. I definitely think it's going to be Murray.
I would agree. So at this point, I would keep him as well. Tariq Cohen.
Trade. I'm trading him. He's still got such value. And what I saw.
He is still rocking that. What happens in the first 2 games of the fantasy football season in the minds of many players,
everyone.
They lock it in.
Even us. It's so
hard. They lock it in.
So hard to get past. If those first 2 weeks, someone is awesome or terrible, that's just what they are this year.
You've been
now
waiting
we
so
know.
long.
Yeah, and now you know, because you didn't just get the first week. You waited 2 weeks. And now I really know how a guy is. I mean, the first 2 weeks last year, Jonathan Stewart was, I think, the 70th ranked running back.
Week 1, Tariq Cohen, 12 targets. Week 2, 9. And now we're talking 9 combined total targets in weeks 3 through 5.
Only 2 targets last game.
I thought it was just 1.
I think it depends on how you calculate targets. Different sites have 1, different sites have 2.
Whatever, it's still bad.
Yeah, it's bad. And usually those calculation differences are because it was a throwaway that is technically targeted, but 1 is probably more apt as far as 1 legitimate target. The way they used him and what I saw from him, which was he was trying way too hard to get back to the special nature. I mean, he was running backwards every single play,
going Barry,
doing the full college. I can outrun everybody, and he wasn't. And so I mean, for me, I think he's still got name value. You're going to be able to trade him. Unlike these other guys, people want Cohen.
Yeah, I agree. I would trade him as well. The 1 target from Mitch T. We got to work on a name for Trubisky.
Yeah, that's not the one.
No, it's not.
Honestly, it's Babyface. Dude, I look at when he's got that helmet on and those brown eyes that are just black with this Babyface without a wrinkle on it. It's like, yeah, Babyface Trubisky.
Is there a good Babyface tune we could sing?
Oh, we'll find
one.
We will.
All right, so I would trade him because that was troubling usage, especially, and the increase of snaps for Benny Cunningham. That's also troubling to me as well. Speaking of a troubling player, many dynasty players have already put this guy in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, you're going with my guy,
Amari Cooper, who has Houdini'd. He has vanished from the face of the fantasy earth, and yet he's one of just a handful of receivers to have 1,000 yards in his first 2 seasons.
Right. But he is a talented receiver who is not getting it done, definitely not returning on his price. And we've seen this, last year, you got big games and you got disappearing acts, full Houdini, as you say. Right now you can get Amari Cooper for
circus peanuts.
Yes. I mean, I was going to say.
People don't even like circus peanuts.
I love circus peanuts.
No, you
yes,
don't.
I do. They're
you do. The orange
circus peanut candies. Those are it's just straight sugar. And look, sugar is delicious.
Judge Giamatti, what is your ruling on circus peanuts?
Of course he's going to hate them.
Disgusting.
Yeah. No, I know I stand alone in that because Usually when people get them, they're stale and all that.
Someone likes them because they're still in stores.
That someone is me, keeping them in business. But, yeah, I mean, I was going to say you can get them for pennies on the dollar, but you don't need to spend pennies for Cooper. Owners with Cooper.
Give him 2 pence.
Hey,
well, Governor, I'll give you 2 pence for Amari Cooper.
They basically want to be done with him. They want to drop him. I traded for him last week. I sat him. If Derek Carr is playing, I play him. If Derek Carr's not playing, I sit Amari Cooper. But I still believe, a lot's made of last season where the second half of the year, how do you feel about
Rightly
Cooper?
so. Rightly so. The second half of the season was rough.
So his
Cooper.
His last 7 games, how many do you think he was in the top 24 wide receivers?
I'm going to go with 2.
3.
Okay.
3 of those 7.
In the top 24, though?
Yeah, he was in the top 22 all 3 of those games,
okay.
which is an absolute start.
Yeah, but, I mean, that you're talking majority out of the wide receiver 2 foundation.
Yes, however,
that's a bad start.
That's most wide receivers, though, because wide receivers are so deep. When you look at finishing in the top 24, the vast majority of games are not finishing in the top 24. The problem is that when he doesn't finish in the top 24, you're talking about, looks like week 12 last year, 81. He must have had 58, 77, 42. He just goes away. But I do believe in the talent of Cooper. I think they'll get it done. He's still got one more target on the season than Brandon Cooks, despite only getting 2 targets last week. He's cheap, but you cannot see Amari Cooper. You cannot see Amari Cooper as a weekly starter. If Derek Carr comes back, you can't see him as a matchup proof. You got to play the matchups with him. If they're going up against
that's the hard thing about
Denver
Amari
or
Cooper,
Kansas
though.
City. I know, because of his division.
Well, I'm just saying the name value, the potential, it's like Deshaun Jackson. I mean, you can try to play the matchups, but the only way you're really going to get the value of Deshaun Jackson is if you play him every single week. But you know that he's going to crap your team.
Kind of. I mean, but I have not wanted to start Deshaun Jackson this whole year until last week. I tried to bid on him. We all did in our league because he had that New England Patriots matchup, and you bid on him, you grab him, you start him, and you were rewarded. He had a great game. I think you can play the matchups with Amari Cooper.
All right. Ty Montgomery, running back, Green Bay Packers. The starting running back who was getting about 95% of snaps every single time he's on the field. You have Mike McCarthy, Coach McCarthy, talking about Aaron Jones has earned more playing time, has earned more snaps. You've also seen Mike McCarthy go all or nothing with his running backs. Those when Montgomery was in, it was all Montgomery. Aaron Jones last week, it was all Aaron Jones. I think Jamal Williams got 2 snaps, but he was healthy. He could have played, but they kept going with Aaron Jones. So where are you temperature-wise on Ty Montgomery?
I'm still strong on Montgomery. I do think that
that's
Aaron
not
Jones,
a temperature.
Okay, I am a warm 90 degrees.
Okay,
all right. I mean, yeah, we've seen when it was Eddie Lacy and James Starks, they were both used, but Eddie Lacy was the predominant guy. He was the guy that, for fantasy purposes, he was the only one you were starting. James Starks in a pinch could be used, or if Eddie Lacy missed a game, you'd start him. I expect something more along the lines of that. I still like Ty Montgomery. He's not going to be playing 90+% of snaps anymore, but maybe that's good for Ty Montgomery. He's got an injury history going back to college, where if you can keep him healthy, utilize him in the passing game, have him be the first, second down back. I still really like Montgomery.
He's a full keep for you.
He's a full keep.
I would keep Ty Montgomery as well. I have said on the show, I believe Aaron Jones has earned himself some more playing time, and removing 8 to 12 touches from Ty Montgomery per week once he comes back and is the starter, that is unfortunate because he was the only show in town. But I still think that Montgomery carries a ton of value with just being such a dynamic and well-rounded weapon.
All right, Mike, Isaiah Crowell.
Oh,
what do you do with Isaiah? You own Isaiah Crowell. I mean, you don't really, but if you did, what do you do? He has only 1 week this entire season with less than double-digit carries. Got 16 carries last week, 12, 10, 17 the first 3 weeks of the season. has been putrid
Yeah.
with those carries.
I mean, Duke Johnson's clearly the better player right now.
What do you do?
I would try to trade him. I mean, he's definitely not a must keep. I would try to trade him.
Would you cut him? That's the question every Crowell owner is asking. Do you
Probably
cut
not.
Isaiah Crowell?
Probably not, because running backs that are getting that volume, even though he's not really a startable player right now, he's getting the volume. So I would bench him.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to come out and just say, no, cut him. I really
I
do.
do
I want to
too.
say cut him. But the truth
I don't
is,
think
and
it's good advice,
We
though.
say this all the time, or we've at least said it before. Ask yourself this. If he was on waivers, would you pick him up, and where would you sort him in? So
And
let's say
I would pick him up.
let's say this last week you had, Adrian Peterson, Isaiah Crowell, Elijah McGuire,
McKinnon. Unless McKinnon was there.
Yeah, McKinnon was number one. So I'm just saying of the lower tier, where would you
okay,
mix
I
him in?
gotcha.
Who would you rather have, Alex Collins or Isaiah Crowell? Adrian Peterson or Isaiah Crowell?
I would.
I'd probably rather in
I think
both
I'd
of
rather
those.
have Peterson.
I'd rather have Peterson and Collins. So I think it's a matter of your waivers. I think he has cut a bull if you have better running back options, but I very rarely cut a running back with carries for a wide receiver. I'm not going to cut him, to pick up Taylor Gabriel unless you have to start him this week.
Sure. He is a curious case, that Isaiah Crowell.
He's got 34 PPR fantasy points over 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's not getting it done. That is
Get
gonna
it done for your opponents. I mean, they love you.
Speaking of it, we'll go to another running back, Frank Gore.
Oh, this is
The elder statesman, Frank Gore. That's an easy keep for you?
That's an easy. I mean, that's not even. I don't even understand what the. Are you saying maybe you try to trade him because
Yes.
you're worried about Marlon Mack?
Yeah, he's not a cut. Well, it's not just Marlon Mack. I mean, Robert Turbin. You're talking last week he got barely over 50% of the snaps.
Yeah, I'm keeping Frank Gore. I don't really.
He's getting phased out of the red zone.
I think you're going to see
what is the upside of Frank Gore?
running back 12. I mean, we know this.
Touché.
You have 3 of the 5 weeks that he's played right now where he's double digits at the running back position with Jacoby Beef Brisket. Where's the beef?
Hey, where's the beef?
There you go.
Thank you.
When Andrew Luck comes back, the offense gets better. The boxes are stacked less. I mean, he is still the clear starter. He is getting it done, unlike Isaiah Crowell. He has no weeks on the season with less than double-digit carries. Yeah, he's not Frank Gore of 3 or 4 years ago where he's rolling out as an RB1, but in the right matchups, he's absolutely startable.
So against Tennessee?
Yeah, I would start him this week.
Man. I would have started him as well if I had him, but
I mean, look,
it's getting cloudy for Frank Gore.
Everybody out there, if you can trade him for better value, then sure. And there are, Marlon Mack behind the scenes. Maybe you get scared about Marlon Mack taking over rest of season, in which case try to turn Frank Gore into a same caliber or better caliber in a package trade running back. But don't get rid of a running back without getting something back.
I feel like that's the best approach right now for Frank Gore and Crowell. If you can do a twofer where you have a shiny piece that somebody really wants, and then you package in Crowell or Frank Gore, you're getting a starting running back who's getting double-digit carries, talk him into that, and get the better player back.
Yeah, if you can trade Frank Gore and Tariq Cohen for a better running back, just a more solid every week starting running back, I would do that.
Oh man, go to that tilting J.J. owner.
Right, exactly.
Just send it. I don't really like sending over putrid offers, and that's a pretty bad offer for J.J. But people are tilting right on Twitter and everywhere. All right, one last name for Keep Trade Cut before we move into the Thursday night preview, because this is a Jason Moore special.
Uh-oh.
Samuel Watkins, the goose.
I did
he had the goose, and he had the sub 2 points the week before. I mean, the targets are not going to Sammy. They're going all over the place.
Yeah, you can't really trust Sammy Watkins right now.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, you can't play him this week.
Arizona, bye week, Giants.
Yeah,
dude, that's a 4-week stretch of despair.
That's a 1-week stretch of despair to me. I think you can play him against Arizona. I think you can play him against New York.
Patrick Peterson, who will he be lining up against? He's been shadowing. He's been eliminating the wide receiver 1 for a team.
Yeah, I think with a team like the LA Rams where we don't know who their number 1 target is, right now it seems like it's Cooper Kupp. I don't think they're going to shadow with Peterson. I think that Sammy Watkins is going to have his opportunity in the game. Plenty of wide receivers have been getting it done against Arizona. The Giants,
not the ones.
Sure, not the ones, but we don't know that Sammy Watkins
I think that teams will still treat Sammy Watkins as the one.
Following the bye, the New York Giants, I think you're living on last year at this point with the Giants defense.
Fair.
They're not what they were last year.
Whoa!
And so, yeah, I mean, he is, a wide receiver 3 type of player. Now, I just traded for him in our league of record, but this was, for the most part, on the back of him being a great keeper option because I still think he's one of the 5 or 6 most talented wide receivers in the entire league, and he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So
yeah, the Rams would have to franchise Sammy Watkins at this point of the season, and judging from his weird cryptic messages on Twitter, at this point the Rams would have to franchise him to keep him.
Right.
And are they willing to do that or not? All right, Thursday night matchup. The Philadelphia Eagles take on the Carolina Panthers. The surging Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton's looking healthy.
In Carolina, favored by 3.
To getting it in, and Cam Newton's getting done. Let's start with Cam Newton. I think that's the best place to start here. Are you playing him against the Eagles? The Eagles secondary. Now, the Eagles are 4-1. However, their pass defense is 29th in allowing yards.
Yeah, I am absolutely playing Cam Newton in this game. I said last week when I kind of gave the pump the brakes on Cam that if he got it done against Detroit, I would buy in to healthier Cam, what he's able to do with McCaffrey and Funchess and some new weapons now. You know, it's ironic because you lose Greg Olsen, and all of a sudden Cam Newton has to spread the ball around and be an actual better quarterback, not have his crutch.
And
which
that's
is
what happened.
Exactly what happened in Cam's huge
2 or 3 years ago,
when he
whatever.
lost Kelvin Benjamin and then all of a sudden had to figure out ways to make it work. The Eagles' defense has not been great. I mean, they've been good for fantasy because they're a ball hawking type of defense, but you know, I don't fear them shutting down the Panthers offense, especially in Carolina. And with Carson Wentz on the other side of the ball, I know Carolina's defense has been good, but Carson's pretty much getting it done on everybody right now. And so if they're able to keep the score, racking up, then Cam Newton, I think, is a start this week.
You've gone from full single toe dip to cannonball right into the waters of Cam Newton.
I think I've gone with an elegant dive. I'm not splashing on people. I'm just taking a nice dive, little splash. That's it.
I would consider mine a belly flop.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because I'm all in for this week in particular, but a belly flop hurts, so you might have to get out of the pool. in the very next week. I agree, Carson Wentz, despite the matchup being terrible, you have to start him. What about any of these running backs for the Philadelphia Eagles? LeGarrette Blount, Smallwood, if he plays. Which
I don't expect Smallwood to play.
We expect him out?
Yeah, he still hasn't even practiced limited. He's out, and this is a Thursday night game. So you've got Corey Clement coming in to back up LeGarrette Blount. I don't think this is a good matchup for LeGarrette Blount. This is one where you're chasing a touchdown. I don't think he's going to get it done on the yards against Carolina in Carolina. So I don't really trust any of the running backs there for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And, 14 for 74 against the Cardinals. And that's a startable week.
Yeah, certainly. LeGarrette Blount has looked better the last few weeks. And I'm certainly not saying you have to bench him because he has the opportunity for the touchdown and maybe he gets, another 70 yards. Especially with Wendell Smallwood out, he'll have more utilization. But I'm not excited, and I think a lot of teams out there are going to have better options. So here, in this same game, would you rather start LeGarrette Blount or Christian McCaffrey?
Oh, my goodness. Christian McCaffrey has been – I mean, he scored last week, but overall you're talking –
Mostly a disappointment.
Mostly a disappointment as well. Scoring format certainly matters. I know that's a cheap way to get out of answering the question because in PPR you have to play McCaffrey.
Right.
But all things considered, I'd probably start LeGarrette Blount over McCaffrey.
Yeah, I lean McCaffrey. I think if you're in half point or more.
Of course, yes, but just total yardage. So total yardage wise, I would lean that LeGarrette Blount will have more yards than McCaffrey.
Yeah, I mean it's a strong argument. Right now, McCaffrey is one of the I think he might be the only running back in the entire NFL with 30 or more carries that does not have 100 yards on the ground total. If you look at his
that's not getting it done.
No, the yards in the last 5 weeks on the ground for Christian McCaffrey, 10, 16, 16, 7. But all his utilization comes in the passing game. He's had over 30 yards receiving every single game, one of which was over 100 yards. Most of the time he's catching 4 or 5 passes. I think his baseline, if you're in any kind of PPR or half PPR, is worthy of starting.
Zach Ertz is an auto start, being targeted almost 10 times a week. You play him, but what about the wide receiver core for Philadelphia? Aguilar, the big touchdown. Torrey Smith, the big touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey, the number 1, got shut down for the most part by Patrick Peterson. Are you playing just Alshon, or are you looking at these secondary options?
Yeah, I think I'm playing just Alshon. Panthers against the wide receivers, they've been middle of the pack. I think they're the 14th ranked against fantasy points. Alshon, I believe in the talent, and someone else will get it done. I mean, if Carson Wentz throws for less than 250 yards and less than 2 touchdowns, I think I'll be surprised. And so someone's going to get it done, probably Zach Ertz. But I can't play the guessing game. I can't start Nelson Aguilar, Torrey Smith. I start Alshon, I start Ertz, and then we've talked about Blount. That's pretty much the Eagles for me.
All right, the Panthers side, Ed Dickson coming off of a sizable performance of absolute ridiculousness, over 170 yards. Ed Dickson, I think, is a fine tight end stream in a pinch, but there's a lot of better options likely on your waiver wire. Either you grab them like Kobe Fleener. I would much rather play him over Ed Dickson. The Carolina Panthers wide receivers, though, Kelvin Benjamin, Devin Funchess. Funchess has been getting it done in a big way the last few weeks since Greg Olsen has left, but he is dealing with the knee issue. Do you have any qualms starting both of them or just one of them? Are you out of Funchess because of the knee injury?
No, I'm fine with Funchess. I'm also fine with Benjamin. I would start both of those guys. Almost pumped the brakes on Ed Dickson this week. I would not.
That would have been a bold.
I would not start Ed Dickson. The Eagles, if you look at how they've been performing against tight ends, they haven't been the best. But over the last few years, they have been. They've been really good at guarding the tight end. And it was week 2 where Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs, they had over 100 yards and a touchdown with the tight ends against the Eagles. But outside of that, they've yet to give up 50 total yards to a team at tight end and only one other touchdown. So I don't think Ed Dickson's going to be the guy to get it done here. But starting Kelvin Benjamin, starting Devin Funchess.
Right. Before we close out the show, want to hit that Foot Clan mailbag.
Mailbag.
Mailbag, girl. I got to hit the button and sing, yeah.
You did it.
Very talented.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Mailbag. This one comes in from Jeffrey in Indianapolis. Says, does the Cardinals getting AP hurt Andre Ellington's value? If so, should I try to trade him before this weekend? This is a full-point PPR league.
That's a great question. I don't think Adrian Peterson hurts Andre Ellington's value too much because they're different skill sets. Right now, if I asked you who in the NFL is leading the league in targets from the running back position, you'd be wrong unless you answered Andre Ellington. So Adrian Peterson is not going to come in and take 4 or 5 targets in the passing game.
I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, as a Cardinal fan, I hope he doesn't because he's probably not going to do as much with it as Ellington. I think Ellington has been fine. He's actually the last 3 weeks been an RB1 every week. If you're in a PPR or half point, then you start him.
This one comes in from Brooks from across the room.
Ooh,
says, can you talk about making trades once the Sunday games have started any given week and why it's a terrible idea, especially if your league has a processing period?
Yeah, we get questions and comments and sadness over things like this all the time. Look, if you're going to trade once games have started, you need to realize that you're on the hook for that. Guy gets injured, you're taking him on.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are taking the risk, and the league needs to be aware of that too, because, the league's going to, okay, this trade is accepted. Everyone understands the risks, and then a guy gets injured, and the league might want to go, hey, I'm going to veto that. You can't trade an injured guy, but it's like,
you didn't. You traded a healthy guy.
Yeah, the trade is done. Now, it does get murky, though, when there is, as Brooks from across the room brings up, when there's that waiting period, that voting trading period, because then technically the trade has not gone through, has not been accepted by the league, and at that point you could make an argument that it is vetoable because you're trading an injured guy for a non-injured
But
guy.
it shouldn't be. If you make a trade in the middle of games, you have to live with those results, which I've learned a few things working for the fantasy footballers in this office. Number one, when you're playing foosball, never shoot with your goalie.
Right?
That's a good tip. And two, don't trade players who are already playing football games.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just talking to someone on the phone the other day who he traded for Beckham in the middle of the first quarter.
Traded away Beckham.
Or traded away Beckham. And the game had already started. I mean, worked out for him, but
But then the league vetoed it.
In which they shouldn't veto it. I mean, it creates this whole messy disaster that you should not have to deal with. All right, we got Jacob in Boulder, Colorado. Kamara or Tevin Coleman, who would you rather have the rest of the season? This is a standard league.
That's a great question. In a standard league, I'm going to go with Tevin Coleman.
Touchdowns?
Touchdowns, I think we have a larger – both of these guys have that breakaway touchdown ability. But we've got a larger sample size to go on with Tevin Coleman. I think Tevin Coleman is better at running the ball as a pure running back. If this was a full PPR league, I might lean Kamara because
Coleman catches passes.
Coleman does catch passes, but Kamara caught 10 passes last. Kamara's going to catch more balls rest of season than Coleman, I believe. They're both good at that. These are similar players, but I would go Tevin Coleman.
Want to talk briefly about the Saints' backfield because with Adrian Peterson out, Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara, are you more excited for these players now with Peterson out? Because I've heard both sides of the coin here.
You've heard both sides? Is that coin talking?
When you spin a coin and then in the movies it's like yeah.
So you've heard.
I've heard all parts of that coin spinning in the air.
Okay.
I'm going to
dig that hole deeper.
keep digging until I reach the other side of the mountain.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson's not getting very many snaps per game, so it's whatever. But then you talk about, Adrian Peterson's getting 6 or 7 touches a game. So let's just say you 50-50 that. Now Mark Ingram and Kamara are getting 3 more touches each.
Yeah, it does make a difference. The reason that I don't see it as significantly different, like when I talk about this, I don't see it very different because I had written Adrian after this last performance. I basically thought Adrian Peterson's going to be done. I didn't expect him to be traded, but I expected it to be a complete 2-man show. Maybe Adrian Peterson would take a snap or 2. But for most people, and which means there is a difference from what we've seen the first 5 weeks and the rest of season. You've got a guy in Mark Ingram who the last 2 years has been a top 10 fantasy football running back who's now in the exact same position, past his bye. If you can trade for Mark Ingram, I would absolutely do it. I think he's going to be great. I like both of these guys. rest of season, they're going to be startable every single game.
This one comes in from Football House. Are you concerned with Tyreek and his usage? He doesn't seem to be there in the red zone or in as many plays as much. Is it time to sell? We're talking Tyreek Hill from the Kansas City Chiefs.
No, I'm not really.
He is correct. On the year, Tyreek Hill has 1 red zone target.
Yeah, he's not but his red zone threat or his touchdown threat is usually from far away.
It's from the other red zone, the blue zone.
Exactly. Yes,
for the 80-yard touchdown.
He scores in the red zone all the time. It's just the other red zone. His usage hasn't changed as much as you might think.
He played sub 60% of snaps against Houston.
His targets here. Let me read his targets throughout the season. 8 targets week 1, 6 targets, 8, 6, 6. Now, 6 targets a game is probably not enough to sustain a wide receiver 1. You know, right now Tyreek Hill is much more in the wide receiver 2.
We know because of week 1.
Yeah,
where he's a wide receiver 1, right? I mean, it's stamped in. It's locked in.
Yeah, I would say this. If you could trade him for wide receiver 1 value, then I would. But I'm not concerned with Tyreek Hill as in I think he's going to disappear or there's a downward pointing arrow that means we haven't seen the basement yet for Tyreek Hill. I don't think that's happening. He's just too important to the team. I mean, they have to get Kelsey the ball. They have to get Hill the ball. They have to get Hunt the ball. They got 3 pieces. And now with Chris Conley gone, you'll see Albert Wilson step up, but you might see Tyreek Hill step up too.
This one's from Dominic in Cons, who says,
in Cons?
In Cons, K-O-N-Z.
Bonjour. That has to be from far, far away.
Very nice. Is Jacoby Brissett
Hey, where's the beef?
a good pickup? I'm not passing that up. Every time I can hit that drop, I'm going to do it. Is Jacoby Brissett a good pickup if I have Mariota to wait and see if Mariota plays on Monday night?
Yeah, we didn't.
Are you going to take the risk on waiting on Mariota, or would you play a streamer like Jacoby Brissett?
Jacoby Brissett's the perfect option, I think. You've got he was your stream of the week.
Yes.
Right? And so he's in a matchup that is beatable, and if you have to stream him, you're going to be okay because of what he can do on the ground. But I just cut Marcus Mariota in our league of record last night because I didn't want to – I had Philip Rivers. There's other guys on the waivers. I love Mariota, but it's not worth hanging on, especially with the Monday night game. I just decided whatever. But if you can hold on to him with the other guy in the Monday Night Football, you don't have to worry about that wait and see. I think Brissett is the perfect pickup for Mariota owners.
All right, this is from Sam in Oakland. He's asking a quarterback question. Carson Palmer or Jameis Winston this week, they're facing off. Mano, duel in the desert.
That's a great question.
Winston versus Palmer.
I'm going to go Palmer.
Carson versus Jameis.
I wish they had nicknames.
Old guy versus crab legs.
Really? You went old guy? Old guy versus young guy was right there for the taking because one of them is very old, one of them is very young. But you went crab legs.
Yeah.
Was that a throwback to his college incident?
It wasn't my best.
That's shameful. I apologize, Jameis, but I am going to take Carson over you solely because the Arizona Cardinals defense is better than the Tampa Bay defense. The Arizona Cardinals are playing at home. Tampa Bay is playing on the road. Those two things mixed together and say I will have Carson ranked ahead of Jameis.
All right, and this last one comes from Nate in Iowa.
Ooh, he's very excited about Iowa.
Who's not?
Oh, man, give me that corn. Do they have corn in Iowa?
They have it in Nebraska. There's a lot of husking.
They're all
a lot of husking.
Yeah, there's got to be corn there.
There's corn everywhere.
There's corn everywhere. This is America. Corn.
We love corn.
We pay for corn. Give me the corn syrup. Subsidize everything. I want corn. I want my football helmets made out of corn.
The good news is if the economy were to ever collapse, the zombocalypse happens, corn is the new currency.
Hey, Iowa!
Yeah, we need to become friends with Nate.
All right, Nate. Let's be friends.
Says, I know Gillislee has a good matchup this week, but would it be crazy to want to start Kamara over him? This is a PPR.
No, it's not crazy. I mean, Kamara in a full PPR is going to have a baseline that you can't necessarily get with Gillislee. I don't blame you at all there. Ironically, I think Kamara is the safer start between the two.
Yeah, probably
His floor is higher because if you figure, okay, let's say
Lewis is ruining everything.
Well, and not only that, but Rex Burkhead might be back this week. I'm just saying, again, you take 4 or 5 touches away, that's going to matter. But, I mean, if Gillislee doesn't get in the end zone and gets, 10, 12, 13 carries for 50 yards, okay, he's got 5 points in a PPR if he's not catching the ball. But you give Kamara 5 receptions, and he gets 0 yards with all of those, he's equal.
It seems a little fishy. I mean, I know that's how we score fantasy points, but
it's dumb. That's why we like half point.
Mike Gillislee running for 50 yards or a guy catching 5 passes for 0 yards.
Yeah, that's
equal.
Right.
This is equal for my fantasy football team.
Half point is the Goldilocks.
Sure.
Half point is, it's not too hot, not too cold. It's just right.
We fit in that seat.
All right,
Foot Clan, thanks for sticking around. We will see you tomorrow, of course. Make sure you check out draft.com/ballers if you want to get in on that DFS action. Tomorrow starts of the week.
Woohoo!
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.